Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Early voting continues across Kentucky. In one county, another generation of a county clerk is operating his first election. Street Spoonamore's father and grandfather were both county clerks before they died. And as WYMT's Phil Pendleton tells us, Spoonamore is following a family tradition.
Street Spoonamore was appointed the Lincoln County Clerk in February when his father passed away. And his father had held that position for 17 years, but he was named county clerk when his father, Street's grandfather, had passed away at that time. Growing up, Street Spoonamore watched his grandfather as county clerk, then later his father stepped into that role and won several terms in office. Sonny Spoonamore died in February, and the judge executive appointed the son as the replacement, just as it was done in 2005. Street has worked as a science teacher, but says being county clerk was something he knew was a possibility.
It wasn't here until the last 3 or 4 years that I really got interested, in maybe when he decided to not run, to put my name in, and unfortunately it didn't get to happen that way, and I had to step in and take over for him.
There will be an election to fill this position when it's on the ballot in November, and Street Spoonamore tells me that he does plan on running for that position at that time. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Spoonamore says it was always in the back of his mind to be county clerk, but always figured his grandfather and then father would hold those positions much longer. Senior citizens in the Big Sandy gathered together today for the indoor portion of the 2023 Big Sandy Senior Games. This is the 36th year of the event and the first year back all together since COVID. Stacy Hall, co-director of Aging Services at the Big Sandy Area Development District, says she's been planning this annual event for more than 15 years. She says she is thrilled everyone is back together.
We love to see them get out and exercise, have fun, because I think COVID really sheltered them a lot in place, and we just like to see them smile, and we just love it.
Seniors from Floyd, Martin, Magoffin, Pike, and Johnson counties all participated in the bowling festivities today. We'll have more from some of the seniors tonight at 6. One library in the Big Sandy is working to meet the needs in its community. The Lawrence County Public Library will begin its summer feeding program on May 23rd. Those with the library say it's an important step in meeting needs for local children. Director Carly Pelfrey says although the meals are much needed, it goes beyond just the snacks.
To see kids that come here in the mornings and their bellies are already growling and they're hungry, and to be able to provide that for them, but also provide them a safe space for programming, air conditioning, water, restrooms. It goes even further beyond just the food.
Pelfrey added that through the help of USDA funding, the library can provide a hot breakfast and lunch every weekday. It also means the library can make snack bags available for the kids. We'll have more about the program tonight at 11.
Scattered showers and storms continue across the mountains as we close out your Friday. Here's a live look right now at the radar, and as you can see, showers and storms continue. No severe weather, but some of the rain is a little bit heavy in some places, especially over portions of Floyd County, also into Knott County as well. Some heavier showers over portions of Floyd County right now, but the heaviest on the board near Inez in Martin County, also stretching into Wayne County, West Virginia as well. So like I said, no severe weather, but thunder, lightning, heavy rainfall, that is all possible as these storms roll through. Also some heavier showers now over portions of Lawrence County, and like I said, also stretching into Wayne County, West Virginia as well. And one more heavier shower near Frenchburg and Menifee County, also stretching into Powell County as well along the Mountain Parkway. So if you're traveling along the parkway tonight, you may run into a few heavier showers between Campton, also Stanton as well. As we go into this evening, a few showers are possible, so have that First Alert weather app on standby. No severe weather, but you may see a few thunderstorms out there later on this evening. Those temperatures stay mild and muggy as we go into tonight. Lows falling into the middle and lower 60s as you wake up tomorrow, and more showers and storms are possible for Mother's Day weekend, and possibly some stronger storms by Sunday. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. A dashboard camera captures the moment someone pulled a gun on another driver in Indianapolis. Emily Longnecker has more.
We're all just trying to get home.
And that's all Macy Wellesley says she was trying to do Tuesday night when she merged behind this white Hyundai Sonata on I-465 right before the Meridian Street exit. This is video from Wesley's dashboard camera.
I immediately kind of got a brake check, which I just assumed was traffic.
So Wesley says she slowed down.
I noticed the passenger driver kept turning around, looking at me, which kind of caught me off guard. I didn't understand why they were doing that.
But if Wesley was surprised by that, she never expected what you're about to see next. Someone coming out of the car's sunroof, waving a gun.
And they cocked their gun and pointed at my car and were waving at me to get back again.
Moments later, you can see the white car switch lanes to the right and slow down until they're right beside Wesley. Then they roll down their windows.
I didn't know if they were slowing down to literally just shoot through the car, shoot me in the head. I didn't want to look at them or give them a reason to actually pull the trigger.
The entire time, Wesley says she just kept asking herself, why?
And I had no idea why any of this was happening.
But she says it's not the first time she's dealt with road rage while commuting. Just not like this.
So as soon as I open my door, it already knows to turn on.
Her boyfriend's thankful he bought her a dashboard camera this past Christmas.
I've driven on 465 for over 10 years and I've never encountered anything quite like that.
Macy Wellesley hopes she never encounters anything like it again.
And I'm already anxious because of the way people are on the road. So after this happened, I'm just like kind of traumatized. I'm scared to drive again, honestly.
The American Psychological Association's research into road rage has found high-anger drivers have twice as many car crashes in simulations and get more tickets for speeding. A killing on a New York subway train has now led to a criminal charge. The Marine veteran who put a fellow passenger into a fatal chokehold turned himself in to police. The confrontation was all caught on camera, and we want to caution you the video is disturbing. CBS's Michael George has that.
Daniel Penny arrived with his attorney to surrender to police and face a charge of second-degree manslaughter.
He did so voluntarily and with the sort of dignity and integrity that is characteristic of his history of service to this grateful nation.
Prosecutors are charging the 24-year-old Marine veteran in the death of an agitated passenger on a New York City subway train last week. Witnesses said Jordan Neely had been shouting and acting erratically, throwing his jacket on the ground when Penny placed him in a chokehold. Kill him now. The 30-year-old was pronounced dead at the hospital. He'd been struggling with homelessness and had a history of mental illness.
We're closer now to justice than we were a week ago because Daniel Penny has been arrested.
Immediately after the subway confrontation, police questioned Penny, but initially released him without charges. The story triggered an uproar about the city's failure to care for the mentally ill.
Anti-blackness.
It also led to protests and calls for an investigation.
We need to call out what is wrong, and we need to address how our system has repeatedly failed people like Jordan Neely.
Penny's attorneys say he never meant to kill Neely, and that he risked his life to protect others.
He has his head held up high.
Found guilty of manslaughter, he could face 15 years in prison. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Scientists around the world are racing to find a way to power electric grids through nuclear fusion. It is a game-changing energy source that would help slash global emissions. A recent breakthrough at a California lab could lead scientists to harnessing the same clean energy that powers the sun. Bill Weir tours the lab with Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm.
Inside this building, some very smart people built a star on Earth. Not the Hollywood kind, that's easy. No, the burning ball of gas in the sky kind. One of the hardest things humans have ever tried.
I was at the airport when my boss called me, and I burst into tears.
Tammy Mall is among the scientists who have been chasing nuclear fusion for generations.
Countdown for a shot on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
And in the middle of a December night, they did it.
And you only need a tiny little bit of fuel.
That's right, yeah. Because our little pellet that sits right in the middle, you can't even see it on this target, is just 2 millimeters in diameter.
That target includes an abundant isotope found in seawater and goes into a chamber about the size of a beach ball in the 60s, but is now a round room 30 feet across with 192 massive lasers aimed at the center.
They're big laser beams about 40 by 40 centimeters. Wow. Each one alone is one of the most energetic in the world. Every time we do a shot, it's 1,000 times the power of the entire US electrical grid. But your lights don't flicker at home when we take a shot. So what we're doing is taking a huge amount of energy and compressing it down just into nanoseconds.
Right.
So it's about $14 of electricity.
The National Ignition Facility then amplifies all that concentrated energy on the target. And if they get it just right, more energy comes out than went in, with no risk of nuclear meltdown or radioactive waste.
In a fusion power plant, you would shoot the same target over and over at about 10 times a second, dropping a target in and shooting it with lasers.
So you'd need a target loader, like a machine gun.
We need a target loader,
right?
exactly. So there's still many, many technology jumps that we need to make. But that's what makes it so exciting, right?
A lot of people were saying you've invested all this money, time to pull the plug because you guys haven't achieved ignition. Right. I mean, it's called the National Ignition Facility, right?
At some point, you better.
At some point, you better ignite. Yes, exactly.
Ignite
I mean, it's really hard to replicate the process that's happening on the sun on Earth. It's just really hard. And so when that happened in December, what it said is that this is actually possible. So it's no longer a question of whether, it's just a question of when, that fusion is actually possible. Now, let's get to work.
In a first-of-a-kind power purchase agreement, Microsoft has already bought fusion electricity from Helion for the year 2028. Coming up on First